Okay, welcome to another video from Shomu's Biology. And in this video lecture, we are going to talk about hemoglobin summary. Okay, so we'll be talking about all the concept map regarding hemoglobin as a protein, which is a very important protein in our body, which has the main function of carrying oxygen through the blood. So let me pick a color and let's start talking about hemoglobin. Okay, so first things first is that I'll be talking about four different things here. Okay, we'll be talking about the hemoglobin structure. First of all, the hemoglobin's structure, this is what we'll talk about. Then I'll talk about hemoglobin's oxygen binding capabilities. Okay, then the third thing that we'll be talking about is the allosteric effect on hemoglobin. Allosteric effect on hemoglobin. Okay, and the fourth thing that I'll be talking about is the effect of carbon monoxide. Okay, effect of carbon monoxide on hemoglobin, which is abbreviated as HB, capital H, small b. So these four things we'll be talking about in this lecture. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share is the structure of hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin exists. It exists as two different types. Okay, what are those two types? One is the deoxyhemoglobin. Another one is oxyhemoglobin. These are the two types. Okay, the deoxyhemoglobin is also known as the T form of the hemoglobin, and oxyhemoglobin is known as R form or relaxed form of the hemoglobin protein. Okay, different relative positions of subunits are there. Okay, so deoxyhemoglobin means it has less affinity towards oxygen, less oxygen affinity. Okay, and the R form or oxyhemoglobin has a high oxygen affinity. This is the idea. Okay, about the two different types of hemoglobin. Now if we talk about the different subunits of hemoglobin in its structure, so let me draw that. Okay, here there are, what I can write here is that there are four different subunits, of hemoglobin. Okay, and those four subunits are actually composed of two types are there. Okay, there is alpha type and then there is beta type. Two alpha type is there and two beta type is there. Okay, so alpha type means it forms alpha chain plus, so alpha chain plus heme and beta chain plus heme, both are required, which all come together to form hemoglobin protein. Okay, and this hemoglobin protein that we are looking now, two different types of subunit, two alpha subunit and two beta subunit are present. This is the active hemoglobin, 4-degree or quaternary structure of hemoglobin. Okay, so that's regarding the structure of hemoglobin. Now let's talk about the oxygen binding capabilities of hemoglobin. Okay, so hemoglobin, normally if we take hemoglobin here, hemoglobin can bind. Okay, hemoglobin binds 4 oxygen molecules. Okay, cooperatively. What do you mean by cooperative binding? It means the first oxygen binding affinity is something, then the second binding affinity is more than the first one. The third affinity for the affinity for third oxygen binding is even more. The affinity for binding with fourth oxygen molecule is even more. So the more oxygen start to bind with hemoglobin, the affinity of hemoglobin towards oxygen also increases. Okay, and they have a heme interaction. Okay, and that leads to, if I write that leads to first oxygen binding with low affinity. So the first oxygen binding, and this binding is of low affinity, but this first oxygen binding shift the T form into the R state of hemoglobin. Remember, there are two states, T state and R state. So the first binding of oxygen to the hemoglobin converts the T state of hemoglobin into the R state, okay, and that leads to the next three oxygen binding, okay, with much high affinity. Got it? So the very first oxygen binding affinity was low, but once it shifts the T state into the R state or relaxed state, now the oxygen binding, the last three oxygen binding affinity increases. That also leads to sigmoid oxygen binding curve of hemoglobin, the typical oxygen binding curve of hemoglobin, okay, where we put the oxygen partial pressure in the x-axis and the affinity, the binding of hemoglobin affinity in the y-axis, the percent saturation in the y-axis. Now let's talk about this third one, allosteric effect, okay. The allosteric effect is actually observed. It is observed only in deoxy form, or T form of the hemoglobin, okay, not in the R form. So what kind of modification we are talking about? Allosteric modification means, okay, this T form preferentially binds to what? One is hydrogen ion or H plus. Second one is 2,3-bis phosphoglycerate or BPG. And the third thing is the CO2 concentration. So this T form binding with oxygen depends on proton, that's H plus concentration, 2,3 BPG concentration and CO2 concentration, okay, and that leads to what I can say is that stabilization of T state. So if there is more H plus, more 2,3 BPG, more CO2 in an environment, that leads to stabilization of the T state of the hemoglobin. And if the T state of hemoglobin is stabilized, then what will happen? That leads to decreased oxygen affinity of hemoglobin. That leads to what is called as the right shift of the oxygen saturation curve of hemoglobin. So normally the oxygen saturation curve looks like this. This is the partial pressure of oxygen here, okay, and this is where the percentage of saturation and partial pressure of oxygen in, let's say, ture or Pascal, any unit you can take, or mmHg you can take, okay. So normally we know this is a kind of a graph, and this graph is shifted to the right. This right shift is caused due to the elevated amount of H plus, elevated amount of CO2 and elevated amount of 2,3 BPG, bis phosphoglycerate, okay. Got it? And this is also known as Bohr effect, okay. Now let's move to the fourth concept. There is the effect of carbon monoxide. So hemoglobin can bind to the carbon monoxide. So hemoglobin binding with carbon monoxide leads to carboxyhemoglobin. Carboxyhemoglobin. This carboxyhemoglobin is characterized by a property. And what is that property? That property is, let me take another color here. It is high affinity. High affinity. It has a high affinity for carbon monoxide. That means it displaces oxygen from hemoglobin and carbon monoxide binds with the hemoglobin. So between carbon monoxide and oxygen, hemoglobin will always have higher affinity to bind towards carbon monoxide rather binding to the oxygen. And that leads to the stabilization of R state of hemoglobin. That leads to left shift of oxygen saturation curve of hemoglobin. Okay, so if there is R state, that means what? Relaxed state means it can bind with more oxygen now later on. So there will be a left shift, and the left shift is possible in lungs. Okay, left shift is possible in lungs because this is the place where the carbon dioxide concentration is low, oxygen concentration is high. Okay, so this what happens, left shift occurs in the lung tissue and the right shift or Bohr effect occurs in the somatic cells. So in the lung tissue where we have the curve shifting to the left, it has a hyperbolic curve. Got it? So this is almost all the summary regarding the hemoglobin, its structure and its function and its affinity to bind with oxygen or affinity to bind with carbon monoxide. So again let me zoom it out, and here you can see the complete summary of hemoglobin structure, oxygen binding capability, allosteric effects and binding capabilities with carbon monoxide. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of that. So that's it for today. If you like this video, hit the like button, share this video with your friends and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this in future. Thank you.